In 1910, black people in this country, and there were about 1 million black people engaged in agriculture, owned 15 million acres of land. In the 100 years or so that have followed from that, black land ownership has declined to somewhere in the range of 3 million acres. A lot of that was chicanery and stealing, but some of it came through partition sales on air property, tax sales, and people in some cases abandoning the land because they didn't have the resources to make it productive. So,
primarily about 99.5% of our applicants are African American. We recently conducted a study, and we know how much land is left as heirs property in our service area, and that's about 41,000 acres. And so we can't tell you where it came from, but we can tell you that there has been a significant loss in land among African Americans in our service area.
Land loss has been a long-term problem here in this region. Several of our landowners are losing their land, either because of their inability to pay the taxes, or they're losing it because they're not taking care of their estates properly and it's being moved into heirs property status. And the next generation is not really taking care of that. So as a result of those two things primarily, they're actually losing that as an asset. And when that happens, our community suffers because there's a lack of land ownership from some of the citizens.
Forestry is one of North Carolina's leading agricultural crops. A lot of times people don't associate forestry with agriculture, but it is. And it actually brings about $28 billion to the state of North Carolina. This part of our state is just a haven of different types of timbers, a lot of forested areas, as you've seen through the countryside, a lot of agricultural land. So forestry in itself, just having the landowners understand the value that they possess just by having that forest land. And all the different opportunities, whether it's hunting leases, whether it's recreational opportunities. Then you just look at the amount of monies that they can make from selling their timber and timber products. So it's just a great opportunity to increase their wealth, increase their land tenure by using forestry as a catalyst.
From my perspective, working with heirs every day as a lawyer, we're oftentimes faced with folks that just want to sell it. They don't have any interest in maintaining it because they've lost the sentimental value. They're not connected as a family anymore because they don't necessarily live and work in the community where the family land is located. And I see forestry as something that's just really a tangible way of folks making money as a family collectively, and that's something that can also be divided pretty easily. I think it's a little bit harder with agriculture or folks that lease out their land to farmers because those amounts of money get so small so quickly. But when you're thinking about forestry, it's long term, right? And so you're planning for not just this crop, but then 20, 30 years down the line for what you have to do to have another successful crop in the next generation or the generation after that. So I think that's what makes this really, really exciting, is that it's something that's so available to a lot of heir owners. It's readily available, it's ready to be productive, and just getting the right support would really make that message drive all the way home and all the way through the heirs, whether they're located regionally or on the other side of the country.
That's imperative. We're in a community here, right now, is where part of my heritage started back 4 generations. And so that is important that we continue to maintain this ownership. Because sometimes when the ownership goes outside of the family, you may have particular entity that may come in that may be prohibited to the community.
Well, in the past, we've almost exclusively used farming as a tool for developing the land, mostly row crops. But we see forestry as a new and emerging opportunity for the population that we serve. We see it as a way to develop it on land in a way that is sustainable and it's good for the environment. It creates wealth at different stages, and also enhances, again, intergenerational wealth. and it makes the land more of an asset that can be passed down from generation to generation, and it brings families together. When the land is making money, if you're making money from the land and the family is benefiting from the land, then it's less likely to be lost.